The mandate of this team is to investigate, arrest those people, and create stability. So here they say its work either is done and all that. It's not done. There are cases there. One of the biggest cases that the team is dealing is Nongoma, where the manager, the finance CFO, and the supply chain, they are arrested. Their arrest, as Mary argues that they are not supposed to, their arrest comes from the matter of Councillor Mkhunu, a 75-year-old. I don't know what's wrong with Councillor Mkhunu because President announced on Councillor Mkhunu. So there's a 75-year-old Councillor Mkhunu that was killed at Nongoma of the NFP. And then when the investigation was done, it was found that the man was paid through the structures of municipality to Ingabi, to the hitman. That's why they are arrested. So that case is still under investigation. Those people are going to court. If you disband with immediate, what happens to those cases and all that kind of thing? And the further investigation. Secondly, this team must create stability. Chairperson, through you to this, half of eThekwini councillors are guarded. Those that come from eThekwini would know, are given protection because they fear to be killed. Mostly there would be ANC and IFP. They are still under guard. The municipality pays extra money, pays extra cars for them, pays extra SNT, pays overtime for those police. So this stability, for me, is not there. I don't know in other places, but councillors are still under guard. So which means, while a lot of work has been done, but the mission has not been accomplished, maybe I must say so, because there is this argument that there is a time bound for this KTT. I agree. But task teams and operations are based on two things: on timeline and the accomplishment of the mission. It's not because it's a timeline, so we say 6 months, and 5.5 down the line, people, they shoot each other, said, yeah, guys, we said we'll stay 6, we are going. No. If the accomplishment of the mission comes early, yes, you can even go earlier. But if it doesn't, those that have authority to extend, which I guess the National Commission would do, it will be so. For me, it can't be measured with the situation that is one councillor. To me, it's a very costly measure to say because one councillor has just been killed of late, it can go. It is. There should be stability to say we are sure now that everybody that is causing trouble we have dealt with. Kwanongoma, there was a time when all councillors of all organizations were sleeping at Richards Bay. When the night falls, they get in a bus or taxi, they go, it's 116 kilometers away. They go and sleep there. What stabilized them to come back? There are two things. Those people who were arrested. So there's stability to Nongoma. But is that stability all over the province? No. It's not all over the province. As I'm saying that people are guarded at eThekwini and at a big expense, the councillors. 2 months ago, when I passed at Kwamash Hostel, the councillor there, Gwala, was escorted by the police, people chasing him literally. He's an IFP councillor chased by IFP people. So don't tell me that there is a stability that you can come. So when all those people are removed, for me, then that will be established. Then the mission will be accomplished. What happens if you withdraw them and then there's a flare up again? You go and constitute them and all that kind of. So I don't agree with having no value and mission having been accomplished.
So without wanting to put words in your mouth, you seem to say that one shouldn't just evaluate or analyze the successes or otherwise of the PKTT in terms of the number of arrests, the number of prosecutions, and how many years people were sentenced to jail. But where there is a period of relative calm or calm, it could, or in your view, that's also due to the continued presence of the task team.
But the letter itself does say the key mandate was to stop, investigate, resolve the unresolved. Resolve the unresolved, which means it is understood for the fact that people are still gathered, for the fact that the investigation in some municipalities, there are cases that are unresolved that need to be followed and resolved. Even the letter understands. So why do you then stop when the mission has not been accomplished?
What about one of the minister's reasons or arguments also that all South Africans, all of us, deserve and are entitled to protection and to be safe, and not only a selected province or a selected group of people, like in this case, politicians, mostly councillors, but he points, for example, to murders here on the Cape Flats, as you well know, and in other parts of the country now, Westbury, other parts that we read about almost daily. And for that reason, it's not just or equitable to just have a political task team that's focused on one province and one category of persons.
Chairperson, is like saying you have a bread. Instead of buying the bread for those that don't have a bread, you take the bread from the one that you all go hungry. Instead of buying the bread for those that they don't have the bread. I fully agree. We are all equal. But maybe the books that we have not equality does silently apply sometimes. Some are more equal than others. Chair, it's not true that it's only task team that takes money. From 2021, there's Operation Mkodwemvubu. That is Kwamhlabeyalingana, the cross-border crimes. In Cape Town, there is a Operation Thunder stroke Operation Lockdown, which takes, I don't have figures, but I would suspect that Cape Town one might be even taken more. When is my suspicion. For instance, if you bring 200 police from other provinces and they stay here at the cost of 800 rand a night, and then they go back and they bring the other lot, and they come with the cars. They don't just come alone. They come with the cars from those provinces and they will get SS. It should be then the question of safety of those people. To say only one councillor has been killed so it can withdraw, I hope people are not going to say it's sour grapes. So there is no minister has been shot, so withdraw the PSS. Because not one has been shot there. If your measurement is one dying, why don't you withdraw those that nobody has died? So maybe it's a sour grapes because I'm not there, I don't have the PSS. But I'm trying to show that that can't be the measurement, so that only one person died, so now you can withdraw. When you have expensive unit called PSS that is guarding safe people, and nobody talks about that. So for me, if you have the center of excellence, your effort is to expand it rather than go and kill where you have established excellence.
What was your relationship with General Satole initially when he was the National Commissioner, and then subsequently General Masemola, who is the current Commissioner?
General Satole, we were really working, but I don't think we were warm. General Satole was appointed a month before the election of the ANC National Conference. So there was this thing of appointing a month before this happened. Mdluli was appointed a month before the National Commission comes in. Satole was appointed a month before we're going for elections, which you know that will be there for a year, but you appoint a person for the next 5 years. So maybe there was that, but as we came, there was a big issue of Satole of illegally purchasing of a grabber, which looks like him and Minister Mbalule, they have agreed to purchase the grabber. The grabber is a listening device to you here. And unfortunately, it was used to me, the grabber, whatever the grabber what. But it was used. I was illegally listened by my police, led by Mdluli, from December to March 2010 to 2011. So I was listened. So it's something that happens. It's supposed to be. By the way, maybe that's another legislative that legislators will have to look at. If they want to get this 205 to listen because there is a project, what police do, they take a batch of the people they want to listen to the judge, and the judge grants the permission of the badge. But in the badge, they can put the name of anybody. That's how they did with me. They put Jabulani Mdlalose, and they put the number of CELE. So the judge approves the badge. The judge should approve the individuals. I think the law must say so that we know that this is not abused to listen people that are not supposed to be listened. So that is a legislative maybe, because I think in the things that is supposed to happen, people will have to look at the legislative matters. The other one, before I forget, it's a law of intelligence. Chairperson, that law, I think it rests with justice. It's such cumbersome law. If the Minister of Police wants to, in his or her department, buy the equipment to work on the devices of working for information, he needs to approach the Minister of Justice. The Minister of Justice needs to invite the Minister of State Security and the Minister of Defense. And as they agree, they invite the Minister of Communication. If one minister says no, that can't work. I find it very cumbersome. That's what happened July 21. That's what happened. That the devices that were there could not be used because one minister said no to stop the spread of July 21. So I find it a very cumbersome law. So I agree that you can't have agencies that monitor people without any kind of monitoring. Maybe only the Minister of Justice rather than Minister of Communication and all that. So it's one law that I think as the members of the legislators, they go forward, they can look at it.
Okay. How was General Masemola appointed? And did you have any role to play or hand in his appointment?
Well, appointing the national commissioners is a prerogative of the president, but I think something happened with Masemola. President put some panel to appoint Masemola. And if I'm not mistaken, 4 generals were interviewed. That will be General Kwena from Northwest, General Masemola, General Vuma, and General was a provincial commissioner, Gauteng, Mawela. So that panel was chaired by Professor Mafumadi, Sydney, and then was Minister of Police on it, CELE. There was Minister of Education, Motsecha. There was DG from Finance. There was DG from Presidents. And there was a former National Commissioner of the South African Police, 5 That is a panel that interviewed, and they made the recommendation to the President about the employment of Masemola.
Okay. And your relationship with General Masemola?
Well, absolutely not friends. I don't even know whether he drinks or he doesn't. I don't drink alcohol. So with friends, you would know. I don't know his house and all that. But our working relationship is quite cordial. It's cordial.
On many occasions, especially in the media, but it's just for your comment. You've been accused of political interference with the operations of the police, even directing the operations of the police. What do you say to such allegations?
Well, I've heard that, but I've seen it written by Mary. I've seen it written. I think, I don't know, but there is a document where he writes to Parliament. When she writes to Parliament because of her fear.
Yes, I'm not sure whether it's the same, but she did file a ministerial, or rather a complaint to the Portfolio Committee.
Yeah, she wrote to Portfolio Committee.
I think you're referring also to Annexure BC 6 on page 59.
Page 59. This one looks like is an article.
Yeah, but it references the complaint to
written by Stein, based on the submission made by Mary to Parliament.
Yes.
About, she tells Parliament that CELE is also known to have dangerous friends, including in the taxi mafia industry in KZN, which is the main home of hitmen. That's how she describes CELE. There is one thing that I agree with him, that there are many Zinkabi in that province. No, I wouldn't. But he says I'm a friend of them, and she's scared of me because of, that's what she says, I'm putting on record publicly with Parliament that I believe that if what I am told by police members is incorrect, Mr. CELE BHEKI is endangering my personal safety. Several weeks ago, there were media reports that Mr. CELE had been telling police members that they should not give information to the media and academics. So, talks about this, about inflammatory statements and all that kind of thing. Professor Diaz reminds Parliament that she had been monitoring and researching policing for 30 years, during which time I have consistently stood up for the rights of good police members. including the trust, and even managed to raise funds for legal assistance. She points out that her work continues to present, although I have not been able to be paid for that. Professor notes that she also needs to interact with police. This is written about CELE. By the way, he has issue with CELE in Khumalo. So she also writes a lot about Khumalo. She adds that reports on the police brutality
Honorable Ngola.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I think General CELE must either confirm or deny the allegation that he has got dangerous friends so that we're able to beef up our security as well. Thank you.
That he has what? Dangerous what?
Chair, the General is reading an article or a letter or whatever that accuses him of having dangerous friends. So he must confirm or deny the allegation so that we know if there is a need as the committee to beef up our security detail as well. Thank you.
Did you hear that, General?
Well, Chairperson, it's direct to say I have dangerous friends in taxi mafia. So I don't have taxis. So I don't know what would put me in the taxi mafias and taxi industry if I don't have taxis. So those dangerous friends maybe are known by.
So General, she, in summary, at the bottom of page 61, she says, as for the police minister's attitude towards her, she writes, it seems that Minister CELE takes exception to my exposing the fact that his conduct is unconstitutional and illegal.
Well, Mary Diaz is an anthropologist, not a judge, to find me guilty. If it is unconstitutional and illegal, she must take me to court and be found by court to be illegal and constitutional, and must strengthen her weapons of research as an anthropologist. And don't do this. I don't think I've done anything illegal and unconstitutional, as she said.
She claims also on page 62, your allies in the police include apartheid-era police and agents, some of whom use state